Squats have always been my least comfortable lift. I've had to work very hard with them over the years in order to improve my squat depth, my performance, and just my level of comfort performing them. As you can see in this video, I couldn't even reach parallel and I just found it very awkward. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about a checklist of things you need to do in order to improve your squatting performance. The first thing we're going to do is raise your pulse and raise your temperature with 5 minutes of cardio on any preferred machine. What you need to do after that is think about activating your core. So I found that a plank followed by a side plank start on either side is very good just for waking everything up, especially around about the abs and the hip flexors. It's very common to see people buckle when they've got some heavy weight on their shoulders. The plank teaches total body tightness. It teaches your entire body to stay in a straight line. The next thing I think is really important to do is get used to the deep squat position. So this hip hinge to deep squat transition works very well. It tends to open up my hips a little bit also and warm up the knees because I'm spending prolonged time in the squatting position. The next thing, I'm looking to activate the glutes, essentially the entire posterior chain. I'm thinking about explosive power. There can only be one exercise, which is the kettlebell swing. Research has shown doing something which involves explosive power like a box jump or a kettlebell swing prior to squats actually increases your squatting performance and allows you to lift more weight. After activating the glutes, I think soft tissue work is really important. So whether you prefer to use a foam roller or whether you prefer to use a massage stick or a ball as I'm using here, it's important just to get rid of any knots or anything that you're feeling and just loosen up the quads in general. Duck walks are possibly my most favorite exercise in order to help with mobility for the deep squat, and they're really great for the hips as well as the ankles, and I will recommend most people do them. This is a staple in my current warm-up routine. It's a lunge with an overhead reach, and I find it's pretty good just to do 20 meters or so. Following that, I will just do some Crossack squats, usually a set to failure. And again, this is fantastic after duck walks. It just aids to open up the hips further. And the funny thing about this exercise is the more reps you do, the more comfortable you get. So you'll find with the first couple that it's really, you're finding some niggly pains, etc. The sooner you get through the set, the better the reps and the better the comfort levels seem to get. And you're now ready to move on to the bar, so it's important to set up the rack right for yourself, set up the bar height right for yourself, and you're ready to start performing some warm-up sets. So I think picking your weights and performing enough warm-up sets is really important. I also work with some squatting equipment which is useful. So knee sleeves, which have been shown in research to help with acute knee pain. They also help warm up the knees, which is pretty good. I've been using them for years and years. I think it's really important to do enough warm-up sets. So I see many people who just walk into the gym and get straight onto the bar. I will do all of this checklist. I will then do the bar. If I feel comfortable, I'll move on to 60. I will then do 80, and I will then do 100 kilos, as you can see, which is loaded currently. It's also important to remember that I'm doing all of these warm-up sets barefoot, and I will only wear my squat shoes for my working set. The reason I do all of my warm-up sets barefoot is to create a better connection to the ground, to strengthen my feet, and to get me to think about placing equal pressure through the tripod of the feet, which is the base of the toe, the base of the little toe, and the heel. So I have my squat shoes, my weightlifting belt ready, as well as some Sidhu Musiala. So this was the first time I'd loaded 140 kilos on the bar for so much volume. This day was 3 sets of 5 at 140 kilos, which I was really happy with. So I'll let you check out this video. So that was the first set. In the background right now you're seeing set number 2, and eventually you'll be seeing set number 3 also. I think it's really important that people prioritize their squat, and a warm-up plays such a huge role in that, because all week we are spending sitting down, whether we're driving, whether we're in the office, whether we're at work, whether we're at home. So to expect to walk into the gym and just be great at squatting and feel comfortable squatting, it's very, very rare. We're not spending any time in the deep squat position. So how do we expect to feel great and feel comfortable squatting? We need to be warming up effectively. We need to be activating the core. We need to be activating the glutes. We need to make sure we're doing ankle mobility exercises, hip mobility exercises. And I can appreciate that what I've shown today is quite a long checklist, but in complete honesty, it takes a maximum of 10 minutes, including the 5-minute pulse raiser, and your squatting performance will increase drastically. But if you're looking for a shorter version, I would encourage you just to do the pulse raiser. Then I would encourage you to do some lunges with the overhead reach and a plank, a very simple plank if you're very short for time. Then move on to the squats. Let me know how you get on with this warm up, and if you complete the checklist and you increase your squatting performance, definitely leave a comment below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, hope you took something away. I'll be catching you in the next one.